What happens when a country's strongest weapon turns into its biggest weakness? Imagine this. In the dead of night, far away from the front lines, the silence is ripped apart by an explosion. A flash of fire rises into the sky, and suddenly the heart of Russia's economy is burning. This is not a battlefield scene. It's the collapse of Russia's war economy in real time. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll see how this strategy is not only dismantling Russia's ability to fight, but also reshaping the very rules of modern war. Let's start with the truth. Russia's economy runs on oil. For decades, it has been the lifeline of the Kremlin's power, fueling tanks, jets, and also filling the state budget through export. But what happens when this lifeline is cut? That's exactly what's happening now. Ukrainian drones are no longer hovering over trenches. They're striking hundreds, even thousands of kilometers deep into Russian territory. Refineries once thought untouchable are going up in flames, and every strike leaves more than just a scar. It tears at the foundation of Russia's ability to wage war. Take the Kirishi oil refinery. Flames from that strike lit up the night sky, visible for miles, and shook Russia's energy empire to its core. This wasn't just another attack. This was precision calculated to hit one of the most critical suppliers of jet fuel, diesel, and gasoline. This single refinery once processed over 20 million tons of oil a year, powering both the civilian economy and the Russian military. In a moment, it became a symbol of Russia's fragility. And here's the part the Kremlin doesn't want its people to see. This isn't an isolated event. August saw 9 refineries hit. By mid-September, that number rose to 14. Together, these strikes have already stripped away nearly 1/5 of Russia's refining capacity. Think about that. 20% of the fuel that powers tanks, feeds aircraft, and fills export contracts has been wiped out in a matter of weeks. And the strikes keep coming. But it's not just oil. Ukraine has expanded its reach. A drone strike recently targeted a chemical plant in Perm, deep inside Russia, over 1,700 kilometers from the border. That facility didn't just make industrial products, it produced RDX and PETN, high-grade explosives vital for artillery shells and missiles. By targeting these sources, Ukraine is cutting off Russia's firepower at the source. Without fuel, tanks can't move. Without explosives, artillery falls silent. Every successful hit forces Russia into a reactive, costly, and exhausting defense. And the campaign isn't limited to the skies. Inside Russia, partisan groups are derailing trains, sabotaging supply lines, and spreading disruption from within. Imagine the chaos. Drones above, saboteurs on the ground, fuel lines burning, and factories shutting down. This is not random chaos. It's coordinated, layered economic warfare designed to strangle the Russian war machine piece by piece. The effects ripple outward. When a refinery goes offline, fuel must be rerouted from distant regions. That means longer supply lines, higher costs, and delayed shipments. Export contracts are missed. Billions of rubles vanish in lost revenue. Insurance premiums for Russian shipments rise, and buyers hesitate. The ruble weakens, inflation rises, and the state budget shrinks. Suddenly, Moscow has less money to pay soldiers, repair tanks, or even maintain public services. And while the Kremlin claims everything is under control, the fire and smoke tell a different story. But beyond economic, these strikes are psychological warfare. Imagine being a Russian citizen in St. Petersburg or the Leningrad region, miles from the battlefield, and seeing the night sky filled with flames. For years, the Kremlin promised that the war would never touch Russian soil. Yet now, the evidence is undeniable. The war is coming home. Sirens wail, news outlets scramble to downplay the damage, and ordinary Russians begin to doubt their government's strength. Fear spreads faster than fire. This is the genius of Ukraine's strategy. Instead of trying to match Russia tank for tank, it goes after the lifeblood that keeps those tanks moving. Every refinery destroyed, every train derailed, every chemical plant hit widens the cracks in Russia's armor. It's slow, it's methodical, and it's devastating. Unlike tanks or planes, refineries and factories can't be rebuilt in a week. These are long-term wounds that bleed money, power, and confidence. And the technology behind it shows how much Ukraine has evolved. These drones aren't just improvised machines. They're part of a sophisticated, long-range strike system operated by specialized units. They can fly hundreds or even thousands of kilometers, slip past defenses, and hit targets with chilling accuracy. It's proof that warfare in the 21st century is no longer decided by sheer numbers, but by precision, persistence, and the ability to attack what really matters, the economy. Think about what this means on a global scale. For decades, Russia projected power through its energy empire. Oil and gas exports bankrolled its military campaigns and gave it leverage over over other nations. But with each strike, that empire weakens. The world sees an energy giant unable to protect its own heartland. Buyers hesitate, investors withdraw, and Russia's reputation as an unshakable superpower begins to crumble. Now here's the part you don't want to miss. This collapse won't happen in one dramatic moment. It won't be a single headline saying Russia defeated. No, it will come quietly as shortages grow, as factories idle, as tanks sit without diesel and jets remain grounded. It will come as budgets shrink, as inflation bites, and as the Russian public loses trust in the illusion of safety. The collapse of Russia's war economy won't be a thunderclap. It will be a slow implosion. Ukraine has found Russia's weak spot, and it is pressing hard. Every refinery that burns, every shipment delayed, every explosion deep inside Russian territory is another step toward dismantling the machinery of war. And when that machinery finally grinds to a halt, it won't just reshape the battlefield, it will reshape the balance of power in the modern world. So stay with me, because this isn't just a story about explosions or drones. This is about the collapse of an empire built on oil, brought down not by invasion, but by precision, patience, and relentless strategy. And before you go, let me leave you with this. Wars are no longer won only on the battlefield. They're won in the refineries, the factories, and the balance sheet. Ukraine is proving that economic warfare is just as powerful as missiles and tanks. And the world is watching closely. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure you like this video, share it with others, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because the collapse of Russia's war economy has only just begun, and the end game is going to shock the world.